Hey there. Today we're going to talk about understanding sentences. We did a warm up with the word scrambles. The directions for the word scramble were to unscramble the list of words below to create a complete sentence. This warm up allows us to understand that the order of the words is important because as a reader, it's trying to tell us a message. And as a writer, there's a structure to the sentence that every sentence should follow. Let's review the word list to see what sentences we possibly could have made. Number 1, the word list is Dalmatian dog is my A. If we rearrange those, we can get a sentence like, my dog is a Dalmatian. It's a simple statement. So capital letters at the beginning, and Dalmatian because it's a proper noun. And a simple statement tells you something, so we follow it with a period. The second list of words says dogs, my, Tess, name, is. If we unscramble that to make a complete sentence, it sounds like, my dog's name is Tess. Yet again, it's a sentence that just tells us something. So we capitalize the first letter of the sentence. Tess is a proper noun because it's a name. And we end with a period. The third list of words says have, kind, what, dog, of, you, do. If we unscramble that, we might form a question. What kind of dog do you have? The beginning of our sentence, of course, gets a capital letter because every start of the sentence gets a capital. There are no proper nouns or months. The letter I, titles, and we already capitalized the start of our sentence. This is a question, so we end it with a question mark. And finally, the word list for 4 says dog, tricks, can, cool, your, do. I left this one blank because you could form a couple of different sentences based off this list. You could ask a question. Can your dog do cool tricks? Or if the dog could, you would probably be excited about it. Your dog can do cool tricks. The first sentence would need a question mark because you asked, can your dog? And the second one, you're excited about their cool tricks. So it would need an exclamation point. Down here, I put a reminder. Remember, a complete sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a punctuation mark. That's what we reviewed yesterday. So let's keep going. It's day 2. What is new? We've already gone over capital letter and punctuation, so we have 2 more that are left. That's going to be the subject and the predicate. This is all probably review from 2nd grade. But what better way to start our journey of writing and editing our work than to go over subject and predicate? The subject and predicate, all sentences are made of at least 2 parts. That's going to be the subject and the predicate. Here, I've given a simple definition for a subject. It's the names of someone or something in the sentence. It's going to be the noun for the sentence. So our simple subject is the main word in the subject. Example, my dog ran after the ball. If we're looking for the noun or the main word in the subject, the dog is the noun. It's a person, place, or thing. A dog is a thing. So all the words before that thing would be included in the simple subject. Now we have to follow up with the predicate. Predicate tells what the subject does. What and does helps us know that we're showing action. That's going to be the verb of the sentence. The simple predicate, the main word in the predicate. We're going to use the same example. My dog ran after the ball. If we're looking for the verb, one of these words shows us action. We're going to choose the first one that shows us action. My dog ran. What the subject does. The dog ran. So we take the verb and everything after that. And that's going to be the simple predicate. But sometimes, what if we have a longer sentence where it has more information, possibly about two or more things? That's where we get into a compound subject. It's made up of two or more simple subjects. And remember, the simple subject is the main word in the subject, that noun. So this example says Tess and Boomer chased each other at the park. A simple subject would just be one person or something. In this case, it's dogs. But we have two, so it's a compound. Tess and Boomer make up the compound subject. Same thing goes for a compound predicate. It's made up of two or more simple predicates. This example says Tess plays fetch and swims in the pool at the park. So our subject is Tess, and the predicate tells us what the subject does. So there are two things that Tess does. She plays fetch and swims in the pool at the park. It's made up of two simple predicates, two things that Tess is doing. Compound subjects and predicates come from two sentences that can be combined using the word and. I could break this compound subject into two sentences. Tess chased Boomer at the park. Or I could say Boomer chased Tess at the park. But it's easier if I put them together. Tess and Boomer chased each other at the park. Same thing goes for the compound predicate. I could break this into two sentences. Tess plays fetch. Tess swims in the pool. But I can put them together to make a compound big kid sentence. Tess plays fetch and swims in the pool. Right now, we're going to focus on identifying the simple subject and predicate, compound subject, and compound predicate. That way, when you start writing, you can start to develop compound subjects and predicates and simple subjects and predicates into your writing. So we're going to identify the subject and predicate of these sentences. Here you see the complete sentence. The first one says, the dog chases her tail. If we're looking for the subject, that means the noun and everything that comes before it. What would be the noun? Person, place, or thing. The dog. The dog is the thing or noun in this sentence. So the subject is followed by a predicate, and that shows the verb. What word shows us an action, the verb? Chases. Chases her tail would be the predicate. It shows us the action of the sentence. Let's move on to the next one. Tess and Bandit eat doggy biscuits. We're looking for the subject. Here's a hint. This has more than one subject. Tess and, oh, I put biscuit. Let's give that a change. So, changed it so that it has the correct subject. Tess and Bandit. It's a compound subject because it has two or more simple subjects. Our predicate shows us the verb. What word shows us the verb? Eat. Eat is showing us the action, so the simple predicate would be eat doggy biscuits. Let's try it in reverse. Tess barks at the mailman. Let's look for the verb first to find the predicate. Barks. Barks is going to be the action verb. So that's our predicate. We take barks and everything after it for the simple predicate. So what's our subject? Tess. Let's try that one more time. The sentence is, Miss Tolbert and Tess play at the dog park. Let's look for the action verb. Play. They play at the dog park. So that means that everything else in the sentence is going to be our subject. And you're right, there are two simple subjects in there, so that's a compound subject. Miss Tolbert and Tess. Finally, Tess jumps on the bed and on the couch. What is the subject? Tess. And what is she doing? Jumps on the bed and the couch. As you're reading through sentences, remember that the subject tells us who, it tells us the noun. That's the way we can find the subject. Find the noun and everything before it. The predicate tells us what. So we find the predicate by looking at the verb. Follow the verb and what's behind it for the predicate.